This 1969 Plymouth Road Runner is more than just an old muscle car sitting idle in a yard. It is a rolling piece of American automotive history, a symbol of the era when Detroit flexed its muscles and proved to the world that raw horsepower, affordable pricing, and simple fun could create legends that lasted for generations. Looking at this particular car today, with its tired paint, patches of rust, and a long slumber that kept it away from the highways it was born to dominate, it is easy for the casual observer to dismiss it as just another junkyard-bound relic. Yet, beneath the surface lies the kind of potential that sends shivers of excitement down the spines of restoration enthusiasts, collectors, and Mopar diehards alike. After all, this Road Runner still carries its original heart, the 383 cubic inch V8 engine under the hood. That fact alone transforms it from an abandoned project into a genuine opportunity. The seller of this Road Runner, an eBay user operating under the name Mop Revival, is quick to warn would-be buyers not to judge a book by its cover. To the untrained eye, this might look like nothing more than a worn-out piece of sheet metal, but muscle car veterans know the real treasure lies in the bones and the authenticity of the drivetrain. According to the seller, the car appears much uglier than it truly is, a phrase that sums up the story of countless project cars waiting for the right hands to resurrect them. A casual glance won't do justice to the potential locked within this Plymouth.to appreciate why this project matters. One must step back into 1969 and remember what the Road Runner meant to the American car market. Plymouth had struck gold with this model, introduced just a year earlier as a no-nonsense performance machine. It wasn't about fancy interiors, premium trim, or flashy luxury features. It was about delivering speed and thrills at a price that the average young enthusiast could actually afford. When Plymouth launched the Road Runner in 1968, the automotive press scoffed at first, thinking Chrysler's gamble to strip down a Belvedere, fit it with a big engine, and sell it cheap would fail. Instead, it became a massive hit. By 1969, the Road Runner had cemented itself as one of the kings of the muscle car scene, standing toe-to-toe with icons like the Pontiac GTO, Chevrolet Chevelle SS, and Ford Torino Cobra. That year, Plymouth sold more than 48,500 hardtops and nearly 34,000 coupes. Convertibles were rarer, with just over 2,100 units built, and they carried a price tag that started at $3,313, making them less appealing to budget-conscious buyers. The coupe was the bargain option at just $2,945, while the hardtop pushed past the $3,000 threshold, starting at $3,083. To put that into perspective, a brand new Corvette in 1969 had a base price of around $4,781, meaning the Road Runner offered V8 muscle for thousands less. Young drivers on a budget flocked to dealerships to get their hands on this car, and the success was immediate. The magic formula behind the Road Runner was its combination of affordability and power. Most buyers opted for the 383 V8, rated at a respectable 335 horsepower, which provided more than enough grunt to turn quarter-mile passes into adrenaline-fueled adventures. For those who wanted to live on the bleeding edge, there was the legendary 426 Hemi. With 425 horsepower, it was the holy grail of Mopar power plants, but it came at a steep cost. On the Road Runner, the Hemi option added more than $800 to the price tag, an amount so significant in 1969 that only a small percentage of buyers took the plunge. Still, those few who did ended up with cars that are now among the most coveted and valuable muscle machines ever produced. The Road Runner currently up for grabs does not carry a Hemi under the hood, but it does have something nearly as valuable in the world of restorations: originality. The 383 that came with the car from the factory is still present, a detail that instantly increases its appeal. Matching numbers cars are always more desirable, and while the transmission has been swapped for a non-original 4-speed, the heart of the beast is intact. The seller notes that the carburetor is also original, though it will need attention before the car can run properly. Even so, the Plymouth does move under its own power, a fact that will certainly make it easier to convince potential buyers of its viability as a restoration candidate. Of course, no project car is without its warts, and this Roadrunner is no exception. Rust has made its mark, with the hood, the main floor, and the quarter panels needing replacement. Yet, in the world of vintage Mopars, this is hardly a death sentence. The good news is that the frame rails remain clean, which is far more critical to the car's structural integrity. Sheet metal can be replaced. Frames are harder to salvage. Additionally, the car still has key original components like the air cleaner, radiator, and exhaust manifolds, all of which will save the next owner time and money if they choose to pursue a factory-correct restoration. The seller is realistic, noting that a complete restoration is the only real option here. This Roadrunner hasn't seen the open road in years, and anyone dreaming of driving it home should think again. A trailer is the only safe way to transport it. Still, the fact that the engine runs provides a huge psychological advantage. There is something deeply reassuring about hearing an original V8 cough back to life after years of dormancy, and it gives restorers the confidence that they are not starting from absolute zero. Collectors often debate whether cars like this should be restored to factory specifications or transformed into custom builds. The answer usually depends on the condition of the car, the rarity of its options, and the vision of the buyer. This Roadrunner, being a 383-powered model with a non-original gearbox, may not command the astronomical prices of a numbers-matching Hemi, but it offers flexibility. Someone could go down the purist route, bringing it back exactly as it rolled off the assembly line, or they could build a high-performance Restomod, adding modern suspension, brakes, and perhaps even a stroker motor under the hood. The possibilities are wide open, and that's part of the appeal. The auction itself tells its own story about the car's desirability. With 12 bids already placed and the top offer sitting at $14,600, interest is clearly strong. However, the reserve has not yet been met, meaning the seller is holding out for a higher price before letting this Roadrunner go. That's a gamble, but with over 40 people watching the listing, chances are good that someone will eventually meet the number. Muscle car projects like this rarely sit unnoticed for long, especially when they carry original engines. It is also worth considering the broader context of today's collector car market. Classic Mopars have always commanded passionate followings, but in recent years, the surge of interest in authentic muscle machines has driven values even higher. Fully restored 1969 Roadrunners can sell for $50,000 to over $100,000, depending on condition, options, and provenance. That kind of potential return makes a project like this appealing, even if the cost of restoration will be substantial. Skilled restorers and well-equipped shops can turn this tired Plymouth into a showpiece, and the end result could very well be a six-figure car. Beyond dollars and cents, though, lies the cultural weight of the Roadrunner name. This was not just a car. It was a symbol of an era when automakers weren't afraid to inject humor, fun, and a sense of personality into their products. Plymouth famously paid Warner Brothers $50,000 for the rights to use the Roadrunner cartoon character, and they even developed a special beep beep horn to mimic the sound from the cartoons. These playful touches, combined with the brute force of big block V8 engines, gave the Roadrunner a unique place in the muscle car pantheon. To own one today is to own a piece of that cultural history. For the potential buyer, the Roadrunner sitting in Springfield, Oregon, is both a challenge and an opportunity. It requires vision, resources, and dedication. The rust repairs will not be cheap. The drivetrain will need careful attention, and every inch of the car must be gone through if it is ever to return to roadworthy condition. But for the right person, this is a dream project. Imagine rolling into a local car show with a gleaming 1969 Roadrunner. Its throaty V8 rumble turning heads, its bright paint shining in the sun, and its unmistakable silhouette standing as proof that muscle cars never die. They just wait to be reborn. The story of this car is still unfinished. Right now, it sits idle, waiting for its next chapter. Perhaps it will be restored to stock and proudly displayed as a survivor of Detroit's golden era. Perhaps it will become a restomod, blending classic looks with modern performance. Or perhaps it will remain a project in someone's garage, inching slowly back to life with each weekend of wrenching. Whatever its future holds, one thing is certain. This 1969 Roadrunner deserves a second chance. And in the end, isn't that what every project car is about? The chance to breathe new life into something forgotten, to turn rust and dust into roaring horsepower, and to become part of the story of an automotive legend in 1969. Anyone walking into a Plymouth showroom would have been greeted by a dazzling array of choices that helped cement the Roadrunner's popularity. The model could be ordered in a wide spectrum of high-impact colors, from vitamin C orange to limelight green, from rally red to B5 blue, each one designed to catch the eye and amplify the car's extroverted personality. Buyers could select from basic bench seats or upgrade to bucket seats with the optional center console. But most owners didn't care much for frills. The Roadrunner was deliberately stripped down, with rubber floor mats instead of plush carpet and minimal trim to keep costs and weight low. Drag racers in particular loved the car's no-nonsense approach. Many young enthusiasts bought a 383 Roadrunner, took it straight to the strip, and discovered that with a few tuning tweaks, headers, and slicks, the car could embarrass much more expensive machinery. The Hemi versions, though rare, became legends on the quarter mile, routinely running in the low 13-second range in stock trim. This connection to grassroots racing cemented the Roadrunner's reputation not only as a street bruiser but also as a genuine competitor where it mattered most. Side by side, with the Christmas tree lights counting down to green. Even advertisements from the period leaned into the playful yet aggressive nature of the car. Print ads featured the cartoon bird alongside bold taglines that emphasized speed and fun over luxury, creating an image that appealed to younger buyers. For many, it was the first muscle car they could realistically afford, and that accessibility helped the Roadrunner become a cultural icon. Looking back today, those details make surviving examples, even rough projects like the one in Springfield, all the more desirable. They carry with them not just horsepower and steel, but memories of an entire generation's hunger for speed and freedom.